Imagine waking up tomorrow and hearing that the President of the United States has been quietly stripped of power, not by an election, not by impeachment, but by the creation of a new position that controls everything behind the scenes. It sounds like something out of a dystopian movie, but in 1933, during the chaos of the Great Depression, something very close to this almost became reality in what's known as the business plot. At the time, America was collapsing. Unemployment was at 25%. People were starving. And when a society reaches that level of desperation, something dangerous happens psychologically. People stop wanting freedom, they start wanting order. They want someone strong to take control and fix everything fast. But this time, it wasn't the poor planning a revolt. It was the wealthy elite, terrified of Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose New Deal policies threatened their power and wealth, especially after he took the country off the gold standard, which many of them saw as a direct attack on their control. So they decided to act, and a man named Gerald McGuire approached one of the most respected military figures in U.S. history, Smedley Butler, a war hero trusted by soldiers and admired by the public, because they knew that if they wanted to control the country, they needed a face people would follow without question. Their plan was bold. They wanted to build a private army of 500,000 veterans, men who were angry, broke, and desperate, and use them to pressure the government into handing over power to a new general secretary, someone who would run the country while the president remained only a symbolic figure. On paper, it looked peaceful.
But in reality, it was a hidden dictatorship. The plotters believed Butler would accept, assuming he wanted power just like they did. But they made a critical psychological mistake, thinking everyone shares your motives. Instead of agreeing, Butler played along, met them multiple times, gathered evidence, and waited until he had enough proof to be taken seriously. Then, in 1934, he went to Congress and exposed everything, revealing the plan, the money, and the people behind it. At first, the media laughed, calling it fake and impossible, because when something is too shocking, people prefer to believe it's not real. But the investigation told a different story, confirming that the plot was indeed discussed, planned, and could have been executed. And yet, despite how serious it was, no powerful figures were punished, likely because Roosevelt needed their support to rebuild the economy, and taking them down could have caused even greater collapse. So the story slowly disappeared, buried in history. But the lesson remains the same. When people are desperate, they trade freedom for stability. Those in power will always try to protect their position, and the most dangerous threats don't always look like threats at all. The business plot didn't fail because it was impossible. It failed because one man refused to play along. And that leaves one uncomfortable question. If something like this happened today, would we even recognize it? Or would we dismiss it just like they did?